Hi and welcome to K.Azcona Designs. Today we are making the Ymir wallet from Diamonds and Coal. I just want to thank them for allowing us to use their pattern for the sewing marathon, and this is just such a cute one. I'm really excited to make this. This is the wallet that we're going to make. It has credit card slots, slip pockets. It's got everything. It is a raw edge wallet, so you will need a non-frame material for it. But how cute is this? There's even a zipper on the back. So I hope you enjoy watching me sew this. Mistakes were made, not gonna lie, but bear with me. It turned out great in the end, as you can see. So I really hope you enjoy. And please make sure you watch the rest of the videos within the sewing marathon. This is brought to you by the Marathon Sewciety. It's a bunch of sewists that get together every month and we sew different patterns. This is not one of mine. I like to sew other people's patterns too. It's rare that I actually sew my own pattern. But yeah, we get really excited. We love supporting the community, and I hope you do too. Definitely consider following us on all the social media channels at Marathon Sewciety. And until we announce the next ones, I hope you enjoy this 3-day sewing marathon that is all spooky Halloween patterns. So enjoy. Okay, so let's start by talking about the different pattern pieces and a few supplies that I'm going to recommend. You'll need to cut out your front main panel. So this has your cutout for your zipper and a cutout for an eye and nose. I'm also going to use a scrap of glitter vinyl that's going to go just behind this. We're going to applique that on. Cut out all your card slot pieces. So you're going to have a main piece in the back, and I'm going to alternate my vinyl. I'm going to then do kind of a pattern vinyl here, my checkered vinyl again, and then my other piece here. So you'll just cut out those pieces and they're going to be stacked. And then on the other side of the wallet, you're going to need your other two pieces. One of them is a small slip pocket and one of them is a large slip pocket piece. And I'm going to put some labels on here. All of my labels that you're going to be seeing today are from the Heartwood and Hide. They do such a great job printing like really fun labels. This one is hauntingly handcrafted for Halloween. They have a ton of other Halloween labels. Definitely check them out. You're going to need your main interior piece. You're going to need a couple of pieces of Decoville Heavy. So this is going to reinforce the front and back of the wallet. Just a piece of cotton woven. So this is going to be the inside of your zipper pocket. Just a number 5 zipper and a zipper pull. So I'm going to do kind of a fun metallic look on my zipper. A couple of scraps of Decoville Heavy just to reinforce your snaps. So this wallet does have 2 sets of magnetic snaps. There are different types of magnetic snaps. The kind that I'm going to use can be used with a rivet press. So it's going to have, you know, both sides, the male and the female. And then on the back side, it's basically this rounded like little button. It looks like a rivet. So this is going to ensure that nothing's going to poke through my vinyl. It'll be nice and smooth on the back. So I'll show you what that looks like. That makes life so much easier. Some 1/8 inch double-sided tape. So I get super sticky tape called Hyper Stick tape from Waywack. So that's what I'm going to use today. There are so many other different types of double stick tape. I probably have them all. I use them for different purposes, but because I want this to like really stay put for me, this is what I'm choosing to use for this project. But certainly you can use any double-sided tape that you wish, or you can use glue. And then I'm going to use some Sewer's Aid. This is a Dritz product. Waywack also has their own version. This is basically a thread lubricant. But because I like to use a narrow hinged zipper foot when I sew, even on vinyl, it just helps me see everything. I don't want my metal foot to stick on the vinyl, so I put some Sewer's Aid in the path of my stitches so that the presser foot does not stick to my vinyl. So this really helps out. It is non-staining, so even if I were to get it on fabric, it wouldn't stain. It's just kind of like an oily lubricant. And then you're also just gonna need some clips, some scissors, kind of the regular stuff. I am going to be using a contrasting thread in hopes that it shows up in the video. So I will do my best in kind of showing you some close-ups if I can. So I'm going to be using some white thread. It is a Tech 70 weight thread from Swag. And it does work with some domestic machines. I sew on a Juki TL18. So this is their Haruka. And this can take up to Tech 70. It is in both my top thread and my bobbin. So that's about it. So why don't we go ahead and get started? So I'm going to start by sewing my labels on. I like to put the label this way so that it's parallel with my zipper. So when you're folding this wallet, it's going to be folded like this. So this will be slanted, but I want it facing the zipper. So that's how I'm going to do it there. I'm going to also sew my other label. This is on the small slip pocket piece. I'm going to do another label on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and do both of these at the same time. So now that our labels are on, we're going to go ahead and applique this on. I'm going to put this one aside. So what you want to do is either use glue or tape on the back, and we're just going to use a scrap and just kind of place this over it, and we're just going to stitch. In my case, I think I'm just going to use a couple pieces of tape because my tape is pretty thin. I'm just going to try to keep it out of where I'm stitching. You just don't want it to shift, that's all. I had somebody comment about, how do they take the backing of the tape off so easily? It really depends on the tape that you're buying. I find that some of the tape that I got off of Amazon, it's horrible. You cannot take the back off. So this comes up, off pretty easily. So just try to line this up as best you can. Just kind of press down. So that's what it looks like. And then we'll trim after we're done. So just go ahead and stitch along the edges around, maybe like 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch all the way around. I do not back stitch. I pull my ends to the back of my vinyl and I tie them off just so that it can look pretty. And this is where the Sewer's Aid comes into play. I'm going to also put a few drops of Sewer's Aid in the path of where my needle is going to be so that my presser foot does not stick. I've tried Teflon feet before. I cannot see around them, so I stick with my narrow hinge zipper foot, and I almost never take it off. Trying to decide what stitch length I want. think I'm gonna do like a 3.5. Let's see what that looks like. So once you're done with this, you just wipe off your sewer's aid and just trim the back. I like to use applique scissors. You don't have to, but I use duckbill applique scissors because I can get really close to the stitch line. And I just peel off my tape too at the same time. So you can lay them pretty much flat and trim. This is what the back of mine looks like. I just tried to keep this part especially pretty tight to the stitches so that when we top stitch everything, it doesn't get in the way. Okay, so let's move on to the zipper pocket. You're gonna need your piece of cotton woven, your zipper pull, zipper, and some tape. I'm going to veer from the pattern. I have not tried this. We're gonna learn together. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna take my zipper tape. I'm not gonna put the pull on yet, but I'm gonna put a piece of double-sided tape on the, hold on, I'm thinking this through. I need to put it on the back, the wrong side of your zipper. And then on the other side too. Okay, so peel off a piece, one of the backings, just on one side, and make sure that your rectangle is with the long sides at the top and bottom. There's a short side and then there's a long side. You want the long side. So go ahead and just put your zipper tape somewhere towards the center, lining up the top of your zipper with the top of the fabric. Just kind of press it down. You can also just use clips for this. I just like to use tape. I get a little tape happy in my life. And then we're going to stitch this using 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, now remove the other side and align it with the opposite side. And then again, we're just going to stitch 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. Okay, so at this point you can put your zipper pull on, whatever way is your favorite way to put it on. Okay, so here's our zipper. Cute, cute little pocket. Okay, so now take your front piece, flip it over, We're going to add more tape. This time we're going to add it to the top and bottom of the zipper opening. And I'm going to extend it past the opening a little bit. Okay. So adorable. All right, so I'm going to remove the backing of the bottom part of this zipper opening. So just this bottom part. And then go ahead and you want your pocket. Make sure you figure out which way you want it to open. For me, I want mine to open, I think I want it to close so that I want it to close this way. So I'm going to want to position mine that way. Okay. So make sure your zipper's facing the way you need it. And then you want to fold up your pocket. So if it's like this, fold it up. Okay, so that the majority of the pocket is facing above your zipper tape. Then take your front piece and just kind of align it center. It's so hard to do this on camera. I think I'm centered, maybe. And just press that down. Okay, so this is what it should look like. So here's my zipper. It's going to close this way. I have my zipper pocket facing up. Nothing else is down here. We are going to stitch just the bottom from about 1/8 of an inch past your zipper all the way down to about 1/8 of an inch past the zipper opening on the other side. Do not back stitch on either end. We're going to stitch about 1/8 of an inch away from that opening. Okay, so you leave your tails long on both sides, flip it over, and we're going to do just what we did before. Pull your tails and knot the opposite side. Pulling my tails up here, and then I'm just going to knot. I usually tie it 3 times. I like to triple knot. I don't trust a double knot. And I'm just using a thread zap 2 to melt the ends. This does not work with cotton thread, so anything that's polyester, nylon, whatever will work. Okay, so we have one side done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to push your pocket down. So it's up right now, we want it down. So go ahead and flip this down. Make sure the entire pocket, all of the fabric is pulled down. You don't want it to get caught. So just pull it down. Make sure it's all the way down there. Okay, so now you're going to take your backing off of the other side of the tape and we're going to adhere it to the other side of the zipper. And again, just make sure it's straight. And just press that down. Really paranoid about whether or not it's pulled all the way down, so I like to just tug. This fabric likes to crease there. Okay, so I think I'm good. Okay, so now our path is going to be, we're going to start at the hole we left off at down here, and we're going to stitch across the zipper, across the top here, and then back down, and we're going to end at the other hole down here. Don't back stitch. Again, we're going to tie in the back. Okay, so let's see if this works. Look how cute. I think so. I think we did it. I've used this on, this is how I do these types of zippers on bags. I was wondering if it was going to work on this wallet, and it did. So cute, right? The instructions are different, so I just do want to point that out. So this is a different way of putting your zipper in. All right, so now that we have this done, we can flip this over and we can use our pieces of Decaville Light, or Decaville Heavy, I should say. So you're going to want to place your Decaville Heavy about 1/4 of an inch away on each side. I went and drew 1/4 of an inch lines so I knew where to line this up. And then I'm just going to iron this down on this side. And then there's a skull piece that goes on the other side. Again, I just kind of gave myself a guide so I know where to iron this, and then I'll iron that down. So I'm going to go iron that. I will be back. Okay, so my Decaville Heavy is now ironed on both sides. Oh, it's coming off a little bit here. I might have to go re-iron that part, but for the most part, it's on. So go ahead and punch your holes as indicated in the pattern piece, and go ahead and put your snaps in. So I'm going to, again, I think I mentioned that I have some, hold on, I'm trying to get all my pieces out. It's sticking to itself. I have these little caps. So the way that these go on, it's pretty cool. Super, super easy. So we're gonna put our female side in, and then these just snap on, and I'm gonna press these down with my rivet press. So you may have the kind with prongs. If you have the kind with prongs, I definitely recommend aligning with, your washer, putting your hole in from there. When you press everything out, definitely use some duct tape, or you can use a thin piece of interfacing to cover the prongs, just so that when it rubs up against the other side of the vinyl, you don't end up getting a hole eventually. But now that, because I have a kind of a smooth back here, I shouldn't have that issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these on with my rivet press. The other thing that I'm gonna do before I go do that is, while I'm at my rivet press, I'm also going to take care of this side too. So again, according to the pattern instructions, there are holes on the pattern piece that you're going to line up with the right side of this vinyl. I think it's actually the wrong side is where you see it all indicated, but you're going to make sure you put your snaps in on this side. So these are going to be the male part of the snap. And what you want to do is you want to put a little bit of Decaville Heavy, like a scrap back here, just to keep things in place. You don't want over time for the vinyl to rip. So this really helps to stabilize your snap. So I like to put a little piece back here and then I rivet. So I'm going to go rivet this piece and this piece, and I'll be right back. Okay, so all of my snaps are on. So this is what I meant. It's nice and smooth, so it shouldn't harm the other side of the wallet. And then here's the male pieces. And that's what it looks like on the back. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do on this piece for right now is I am going to go ahead and just trim the excess that I have here. Okay, I think we're good. Oh, you know what? I missed a step. We didn't actually close out the sides. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm sitting here trimming everything down. So the one thing we didn't do with the pocket is sew the sides. So you're actually going to sew from the front. So grab some clips and you're just gonna kind of hold your sides closed here. Okay, and we are going to sew from here to here on this side. We're going to back stitch. I'm going to stitch a few times over the zipper. And then from here to here on this side, and again, I'm going to sew back and forth on the zipper a little bit. And I'm going to use probably like a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so now we have it stitched on this side and this side, and now we have a pocket. I am going to trim this a little bit closer to my stitch line. Just so nothing sticks out of the sides. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Here's your pocket. Okay, so we can put this part aside. Now we're going to grab our other card slots and slip pockets. Okay, so let's work on the card slots first. So there's two of these larger, I think they're called slip pocket pieces or card slot pieces in the pattern. There's a small one, and then there's the front card slot, and then there's these other two pieces that you're gonna need. So the one larger one, it can just be put to the side. I'm trying to decide which one I want for this. That's fine. I think I want this one. So with the larger piece, decide what's what. Grab some double-sided tape, and on the backs of these three bottom pieces, we're going to put some tape. tape started to get all weird on the bottom of that one. I just cut that off. Okay, so I already made some marks for myself. So according to the pattern, I placed some lines, the distance that it stated where these needed to go. So this needed to be a certain distance from the top, so I put a line for my guide. So when you line that up, all you're going to do is take your double-sided tape off and you're going to align it. This makes it so much easier for me. I'm just going to line it with the line that I drew. That way, there is no question about where to put it. Okay, so on this one, we are going to stitch 1/4 of an inch down here. I am going to back stitch. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing down here. So we're going to take off our tape. I've already pre-measured. I have my lines drawn. I'm just going to line it up with the next line that I drew. I'm going to press it down. And then I'm going to stitch down here too, just like I did in the last one. One thing that you can do too, and I'm kind of wondering if I probably should have, is to prevent the fabric or the vinyl from stretching, you can do a top stitch on the very edge of all of these, about 1/8 of an inch away. I'm kind of feeling the vinyl, and as I'm stitching it, I'm wondering if I should do that. This isn't super stretchy vinyl. That's why I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I need it. I may do it just because it looks pretty. All right, let me do that. You probably should do that at the beginning if you're going to do it, but, and it does talk about that in the pattern. I was just choosing not to, but now I'm questioning my choices. Okay, now that you have this last piece, go ahead and take the bottom part off and line it up with your last line that you drew. And then we're going to stitch down this one too. So those are your card slots. You can go ahead and erase your lines. So I'm going to go do that real quick. Okay, I erased my lines and I drew a line down the middle. So we're just going to stitch down the middle. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can do one single stitch down the middle and back stitch each time. The other thing you can do is stitch to the left and right of this. So you can, start down here, stitch up, turn, like pivot, and then turn back down and come back down on the other side of the line. I think that's the choice I'm going to make. I just want to, keep all of this reinforced. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and pull my threads back and knot them. Okay, so that's what it looks like. You can trim anything that's sticking out at the bottom. So those will be your card slots. Okay, so now let's take care of our slip pockets. So the way that this comes together is you're going to have card slots facing towards the middle. You're also going to have slip pockets facing towards the middle, like this. So you have a slip pocket here, a slip pocket here. So this is why I'm doing this. Trying to visualize like which direction, since my vinyl's directional, I'm trying to figure that out. I think I want it all facing to the left so that when you're using it, and if you want to face it this way, everything's the same direction. Or do I want it like this so that it's opposite directions? Let's look. So this is my card slots. That's what it's gonna look like. Do we like that when it's open? It's gonna bother me. I think it needs to be this way. Oh, but see, that bugs me too. Because it's like literally okay, all right. Decisions made. It's gonna go this way. It's gonna go opposite because you put the stuff in here and here and okay, that's how it's gonna be. These are the things that just take me forever to decide. All right, so turn this bottom small slip pocket piece over, and at the bottom, go ahead and put a piece of tape. I am also going to top stitch just like I did on the other pieces, just so it matches. Just really for no other reason. I mean, really, that's the only reason I'm doing it. Okay, so this piece and this piece will go together. Go ahead and take off your backing and align it with the bottom. It is a thing of beauty. Okay, so the way that this is going to go, again, I'm just going to make sure before I stitch anything. It's going to go like this, there, and this will go here. Okay, I think we're in good shape. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just stitch these together using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so now that these pieces are done, they're all together, we're just going to put these aside for a moment. Assembly time. All right, so grab this front piece. I went ahead and just put some 1/8 inch double-sided tape about a 1/4 inch in from the edge so I don't stitch over it. You could also use glue, anything just to kind of keep this together. We're going to basically take this piece and lay this piece on top, and we're going to just kind of stick it down. So go ahead and align this left side with the left corner here, and just start pressing. it gets really bulky where this zipper is. That's all right. Just do your best to try to align all your edges. You just don't want anything really overlapping very much. Where it's going to be really tough to stitch is around here where the snaps are. If you have any Decoville light sticking out, which I do, trim that back. You do not want to be catching that in your seams. Okay, if you need to go ahead and clip too, which I think I'm going to do, I like to use these hair clips. It's probably overkill, but I just don't want anything shifting on me. Just because I'm going to put my zipper in the middle just so I don't kind of hit it when I'm stitching around. So this back side is going to stick out. That's okay. That's what we want. We're going to trim it after we're done. Okay. So now that I have that, flip it back over. And yes, I'm going to have to take my clips off, but I just want it sitting where I need it right now. So we're going to grab your card slots. Your card slots are going to be aligned to the left here. I did put a little bit of tape here, about 1/4 of an inch away out of my seam allowance, just to keep it in place while I'm sewing. So we'll go ahead and align this with the edge. Pretty thick here too, so make sure you're using materials your machine can handle. I'm hoping my machine can get through this. I'll do a couple more clips here just to make sure I keep all of this down. Okay, now according to the pattern instructions, go ahead and align your other slip pocket on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be right back. Okay, so I think I have everything in place. Go ahead and flip it. Well, so make sure your pockets are open here, okay? You have one pocket here, make sure it's directionally the way that you want it. Flip it back over, and now we're going to top stitch all the way around using 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Make sure, and I'm going to kind of adjust here, that everything's lining up the way that it should from the front. You can always trim afterwards, but I try to align it as best as I can. It's going to be a little rough right here, so just take your time. I'm probably going to end up hand cranking around these edges just to make sure that I get it, that I catch everything and I'm not too close to the edge. This is one of the reasons why I definitely recommend a narrow hinge zipper foot, some kind of a zipper foot for this, because there's not a ton of room at all right there. So I'm going to start, I think, at the bottom. I am not going to backstitch. I'm going to be pulling my threads through. And I'll show you how I'm going to hide those afterwards. It's doable. So I'm just using my sewer's aid so I don't get, nothing gets sticky. This is probably the hardest part of this entire project. Okay, so this is what it should look like now. I still have my threads, so go ahead and just check and make sure before you do anything else that everything was caught. You don't have any issues. It looks like mine is fine. I think I'm in good shape. Looks like my pocket is a little bit tall. I think I may not have measured correctly, but other than that, I mean, it's so minor. It's maybe a 1/16 of an inch off. Only I will know that. And now you will too. I just did not measure very accurately. That's okay. Okay, so here's how I hide my threads. You are going to need a sewing needle to do this. We are not hand stitching anything. We're just pulling threads through. I just use a needle with kind of a big eye in it. And I pull my threads into the seam. If you end up edge coating this, everything gets hidden. So I just push my needle through into the seam till I can see it come out. And I put all of my threads through that big eye in the needle. See if I can get them all at the same time. Oh, look at that. I got lucky. And then just pull that through. So now you have it in the seam, and now you can go ahead and just knot the threads. I don't like to knot all four at the same time, especially, I usually don't anyway, but especially in the seam because it gets bulky. So you just want to keep it as thin as possible. I still triple knot. I still try to melt my threads, but now it'll be in the seam where you really won't even see it. So if you do decide to edge coat, I don't know how many knots I just made, you can hide it that way, but otherwise you may not need to because now it's hidden kind of in the seam. That's also why I like to use a thread zapper, because I can kind of wiggle my way in there and melt a little bit. Not good. And now you can't even tell. So I just go through and I just melt threads that I see sticking out with my thread zapper, just to kind of clean up. And it's because I backstitch so much that I have all these threads. If you decide not to backstitch, you will not have this issue. But I decided to, just because it was faster, and I don't want you sitting here watching me hand tie all of these threads, because that's just annoying. Okay, so the last thing that we need to do, we are going to trim everything out, but we also still need to do one more stitch. And the last stitch is going to be, because I am misaligned a little, I'm wondering if I need to cut anything. decisions. You basically want to stitch 1/8 of an inch away. I think I'm going to try to go a little bit further in. So basically stitch 1/8 of an inch away from the edge here, or your line of stitching that you did here. I'm going to go a little closer to the line of stitching just so I can catch everything. You're going to go all the way through all layers. Okay, so now we'll just trim this out. So trim anything that's sticking out. Okay, so everything's all trimmed. Look how pretty this is. So you have a pocket down here, and then you have a slip pocket here, another slip pocket here, and all of your credit card slots. So you have 6 credit card slots, and then your 3 slip pockets. So now everything is nice and sealed. You can snap it together. And there's your wallet. Cute, right? I love this. This is so adorable. And then here's your pocket for all your coins and other stuff. So yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this one for myself. This is really adorable. I love purple too, so I think I'm gonna keep it. I don't know that I need to edge coat it. I think it looks okay as is. I mean, you certainly could edge coat if you choose, but I don't know that it's necessary. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This was part of our Halloween sewing marathon. This was day 1 of 3. I hope you tune in to the rest of the videos that are going to be playing the following days. Please like and subscribe to my channel. That really does help me out. I will put all of the links to the materials that I used for this tutorial in the description, as well as links to the pattern and to the other sewists that are participating in the sewing marathon. I hope you're having a lot of fun. This is so fun for us. Halloween's like my favorite holiday ever. So please enjoy watching everyone else. And if you have any questions, comments, add them below. Thanks so much.